Okay, so I'm so sorry. I have no idea what happened, everyone. Welcome back. This is part two of our wonderful interview. Mandy, we had to take a break, didn't we?
We did.
Okay, so so I can't remember the exact question I was asking you at the time. Do you remember?
I do. You said, where did I get the idea from? So
Okay.
I'm not sure how far I got into that, so I'll make it a little bit brief. I'm a restaurant judge, and I'm a member of the International Food, Wine and Travel Writers Association, which is an American travel, wine and food writing association with a great group of people.
Wow.
And they do a lot of fantastic work reviewing restaurants, writing for magazines and what have you about wonderful wineries and places all around the world. Anyway, so I'm a member of that, and there was a conference a few years ago on a cruise ship, can you believe, going from Seattle to Alaska.
Wow.
And so I just had to go with, and my husband came with me as well. And I met all these fantastic Americans who are travel writers, food writers. One lady in particular who's so adorable is a lady called Gail, who does restaurant judging in New York. And so she wrote to me a few months after I met her and said, when are you coming to New York to do some restaurant judging with me? And my husband and I have got a few children, and got school fees and school shoes and sports and music and all those sorts of things like every other parent has. And I sort of thought, I probably couldn't justify spending the money getting to New York, and I know it's quite expensive to stay there. So I jokingly said to my husband that night, if I can find free accommodation, can I go to New York? And he'd let me go anyway, but it was
Right.
And I just thought there would be a website out there with women exchanging accommodation. I was just amazed, So I sort of sat on the lounge and I started looking, and there was nothing out there as such. And I wanted it women only. I didn't want to be looking at a website where I'd feel uncomfortable sharing with a man that I didn't know.
Of
I
course.
just assumed it was there. So the more I looked, there was nothing. So just one thing led to another, and here I am a year and a half later with the website. And I guess because I'd had that wonderful experience with networking with women, military wives, etc., as an expatriate around the world, those connections are really invaluable, and I could pretty much pop around the world if I wanted to, and ring up someone and say, look, can I get a bed for the night or what have you? And I thought, wouldn't that be a lovely thing to share with other like-minded women? So I guess that's where it started. And I still haven't been to New York, but I think I'm going in May.
Wow. Well, I have to say your life is unbelievably exciting. So I think what you've done is amazing, and the fact that how did you spread? Is it just word of mouth that when you started it, several women started asking friends, or?
Yeah, I guess so, and I think none of this would happen if we don't have this wonderful thing called the internet.
Right.
And I have a great Facebook page with about 7,000 members that sort of follow my little trips and things like that. And I guess once they sort of see me doing a little bit of travel, and there's a few comments, and I guess once women sort of realise it's quite true and it's quite genuine, then I'll get a little email saying, look, I'd love to join Broads Abroad. I'm seeing what you're doing. I'm seeing women around the world now wearing the orange scarf and connecting, and that you gals look like, or you broads look like you're having a really great time, and I'd like to be part of this. So it's just really important, and it really is for these like-minded, fairly independent women. But I guess there's some women out there too, Sonia, that are going, look, I'd really love to, I don't know, go, let's say Barcelona again, or whatever, London or what have you. I'm a little bit, trepidatious. I haven't done this before on my own. And I guess there's that little group of women too that just need a little bit of encouragement. Look, there's a lady at the other end I'm going to meet and have coffee with in a few days' time, and that makes me feel comfortable. So I think there's the women that just go, look, I'm just going to go anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really care, and I'm very comfortable doing that. But I do think there's a group of women that just need that little bit of encouragement to go, you know what, I can do this. So that makes me feel really great too, that someone goes, packed a bag and contacted abroad, and will travel now because they know at the other end there's someone to pick them up at the airport, or someone they can have a cup of coffee with. Because I don't know about you, but I think the true travel experiences, the ones where I get the most joy from, are when I actually meet a local and get some information about where I'm staying. And I'll give you a little example. The other day, only 3 or 4 days ago, I was in Laos, and let me pronounce this right, a village called Long Krabang. I was encouraged to go there from Bangkok, and so I had a few spare days. So I thought, well, I'm going to go, and I'm researching a little book on that village to write about it, because it's actually attracting a lot of Broads going there. It's a very beautiful, quite a spiritual village. It's quite famous, I guess, for the monks, you know, waking up. You wake up in the morning and at dawn you go and stand on the street and you watch literally hundreds of these monks walking along the street, and the locals put in a little bit of rice into their bowl and sort of feed them for the day. Totally beautiful and totally spiritual, and it's really attracting a lot of women. I heard this when I was in Bangkok. So last Friday I jumped on a flight and went up for a few days just to get that feel of what it was like for a book about the village. And I was thinking, what would Broads like to do here? So I sort of had a beautiful massage with a chap who was a blind healer, and probably one of the best massages I've ever had and just working sort of you know, with his fingers and sometimes his knee and things like that. It was just 2 hours of quite
bliss,
beautiful meditation bliss. And I will talk about that in the book. And then I thought, well, what else would Broads like to do? So I went for a boat ride on the Mekong, and that was really beautiful. And then that evening I saw a cooking school, and I thought, I love cooking. So I thought that would attract Broads. So I popped into the cooking school, and there was a local chap running it, and I said, look, can I take a photo for this book I'm writing about Broads coming to Laos? And he said, look, I don't run it, but go across the way, the alleyway, to the house, the big house, and the lady that runs the school, you'll need permission to get some photos. So I walked across the alley, I knocked on the door, and out comes this lady from Melbourne. And we just, yes, and she's been living there for 16 years. She started. That was the first restaurant to be opened in Long Prabong. And then I think this cooking school's been going for about 5 years. So, and whatever excess money she makes from the cooking school and the restaurant goes to a project that she set up called Lao Kids. So giving back to the community and trying to help mums having babies and supplying soap and clothes and warm clothes, because a lot of these women live in remote areas, and it can be quite cold during the winter. So when the babies are born, they're needing beanies and bunny rugs and things like that. Well, I stayed with her for about an hour and a half.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I guess that was the, you know, so she goes, so there you go, I'm from Melbourne. I said, well, I live near Melbourne too. So, and she was so happy to talk about, you know, the project with the kids, working with the kids and what have you. I guess that was the highlight of my trip. So that's all I'm saying is I think when we travel, it's making these incredible connections, and sometimes I love that word serendipity.
Yes.
It's you know how that ever came about, and there I am sitting there, and I'll be emailing her and writing now a big article for a newspaper, because I want women in my local area to maybe start knitting a few beanies and things like that to help these mums with these babies and what have you. And it just touched my heart. I went, oh, that's such a beautiful story. These are the things of travel.
You know, I totally understand. I mean, it really broadens your horizons and everything, and you meet wonderful people. But what I know we don't have that much time, so I wanted to ask you: would you like to talk a little bit about the book, your memoir that you're writing, and also your Global Broads Abroad book?
Yeah, sure. Look, I guess the memoir just came about because I guess having lived in Saudi Arabia for 7 years was quite interesting, and that sort of gave me the seed to do the travel network. So I thought that's a nice way of sort of explaining a bit about my life and how I've got to where I am now. I thought that was really important. And then I met up with a photographer, and he was really keen to do something with Broads of Broads. And we had this massive photo shoot last year in Melbourne where we photographed 30 women, mainly again 50 plus, and the oldest one was 88. And we dressed them in various national costumes or something related to a city. So we've got 30 different cities. And then my job was to write a quirky travel story to go with each one. And the travel story is not something that you might go on TripAdvisor and everyone knows. It's sort of getting to the heart of a city or a place that maybe women don't know about. For example, the story on Hanoi, which is really beautiful, is about the Vietnamese Women's Museum and about one of the women that I read about that is in the museum, a young surgeon that was killed during the Vietnam War at the age of 27, and she wrote these incredible diaries about her time in the jungle. And I went to Hanoi before I went to Luang Prabang, and I actually went to the Women's Museum and saw the beautiful display of this young woman, and it just touched my heart. And the Vietnam News were really interested in that, and they wrote a beautiful article about me visiting. So just little things that might interest abroad when they go there, not the Eiffel Tower or not the classic thing you think of, something that's in a back street or an experience that I hope can touch the heart. So that's that book. And that's to be published. I've just finished writing that, and that will be published July, August this year. And leading on from that, we're going to do then a collection of travel stories. So I've just had a week in Bangkok looking at all the things that might interest Broads. And I'm going to write a book specifically about Bangkok, just the things that would interest women. And that's why it was important to go to Luang Prabang and to look at the things that might interest Broads there. So really different, quirky travel books that really appeal to the women who are joining Broads Abroad Travel Network.
So are you planning on actually, with all this information in the future, doing some mini tours? Or are you still... I'm just curious how, it makes it sound like you want to do a little retreat or something in each...
Look, that's lovely, Sonia. And look, I think I've been asked that question. I think I would love to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it's a matter of throwing it out there, and then it's also a matter of me having the time to do that. And at this present point, my priority is to do those travel books. Mind you, can I tell you a beautiful story I did for Mallow in Ireland to go in the Broads Abroad. The global book is about a beautiful retreat that women can go to, and that was it's a very long story, so I won't tell you how I got to that one. When I researched that story, and I've written it, and these stories are only they go between 180 and 400 words. They're not big stories. There's nothing mammoth about them. But the heart of that story is terribly beautiful, and it's about a retreat in Mallow in County Cork. And one day I will go there, and have some time out. So maybe the book, when women buy the book, they might go, you know what? I really love the idea of going to that retreat in Mallow, or I really love the idea of going to Luang Prabang and having a massage with a blind healer, or so these little suggestions are going to be in the books that I'm doing. So, and it would be terribly exciting to do a trip with some Broads and take on the same journey. Yes,
take me on board. I'll be there working with you.
Okay.
Anyway. I know you have to hook up with some women. You told me that you're going to be taking out for lunch, so I don't want to keep you too long.
Yes, of interest. There's two Broads in where I live. That's the town that I live, and there's a Broad that lives about an hour from here on the lakes. These beautiful lakes that we have in Gippsland. If Broads are coming to Australia, and there's a lady from Canada that's staying with her, a Broad staying with her. So we all just thought we'd get together and have lunch by the lakes. And at 12 o'clock they feed the pelicans, so we're going to go and watch the pelicans be fed, and then meet up with this Broad from Canada. So there you go.
Well,
So if women want to, I'll post it on on the Facebook page too. Some photos of the girls having lunch together and the pelicans. So
well, you
if
listen.
women are
Yeah.
interested,
If you could just give us a little bit your website, your Facebook page, and anything else you want to do to share with everyone so that we can join you.
Sure. The website is www.broadsabroad.net, and on there you will find a link to the Facebook page. So I'm looking up at my, because I never really know it. I'm looking up my screen. Here we go. So the Facebook for Broads Abroad is facebook.com,
Mm-hmm.
the backslash,
Yes.
Broads Abroad. But yeah, I guess the easiest way is just go to the website, and on the bottom there is a link to the Facebook page. And women that join Broads Abroad's, the network where they're happy to exchange free accommodation, there's a private Facebook page forum which is working just beautifully, because women are actually starting to pose questions like, is anyone travelling to so-and-so, and I need someone to share some accommodation with on a boat down the Rhine, and someone will write, I want to do that too, so then they connect somewhere. And so it's just lovely to see. It's a community, Sonia. There is a community growing around the private forum. So
yes,
I can't emphasise enough how beautiful it is, and seeing these friendships around the world grow. And I've made friends now with women that I never thought would ever happen. So, yeah, it's an encouraging thing.
I think that's a wonderful idea. I will post the link as well on this YouTube video. I'm so sorry it's going to be 2 videos. If I can merge the 2, I will. But there'll be part 1 and part 2. And I really love what you're doing. And I've already checked out Broads in the countries where I'm going. So I started filling out my profile there. And I encourage everybody else who wants to travel to join Mandy Rowe's Broads Abroad network, travel network. So I'd like to thank you so much. Have a wonderful time with the Canadian lady, and I hope we reconnect, because, and I also want to know when your book comes out, because I'd love to read it.
All right, lovely. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking to you, Sonia.
Yes,
and all the best
too.
for travels too.
Thank you very much. I'm envious of your travel, but if you ever need me, I'll be there, okay? Thank you.
Cheerio.
Bye, Mandy. Thanks.